walking this way.
Do it again.
Guys, we're going to spin round if you want, and we're
And
just
you
going
were
to
so
go.
nice in the huh?
Martin,
What a change.
If you'd like to come
Yeah.
in there.
Can we do the shirt in the corner, guys? John, can I go under you? One more down here, please, Martin.
Everybody, thank you very
Okay,
much.
much appreciated. Thank you.
You guys.
Afternoon, Rob.
Good to see you, Mark.
You okay?
Good, thanks. You?
Yeah, fine. Thank you very much. Yeah. You okay?
Martin, first and foremost, many congratulations on the appointment.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Got such a special association with this football club. How does it now feel to be the Nottingham Forest manager?
Well, it probably hasn't really sunk in yet because things have happened very, very quickly. Obviously, goes without saying, it's a privilege and an honour to be manager of the club for a start. As you've mentioned, a lot of very, very fond memories here. I spent almost 10 years as a player, and of course the last 5 years were pretty exceptional. And so really looking forward to it. Long time since the club has been in the big league, and I'm going to try and see if I can rectify that. That's really my job for the next 18 months, if I can.
You've achieved an awful lot in the game as a player, but in particular as a manager. But this is the spiritual home of one of the greatest managers of all time, a man who was very special to you, Brian Clough. I suspect on a day like this you're aware of that weight as you walk into the club.
Very much so, yeah. He was special to a lot of people, yeah, and my moments with him weren't always gracious, but overall I learned a great deal from him as a player, and if I'd thought about it, which I never really did up until very late on in my career about managing, then I'm quite sure he would have been given advice as well too. So no, very special place, and naturally not too many clubs have won 2 European Cups, so that is particularly special. And a tough old act, really, I must admit, to follow, but try and do our very, very best.
Could you have taken a job here in the past? Have you had a chance to become Forest manager before?
I have had a chance, a number of chances. I wasn't sure about whether it was the right time. One's never sure about when the right time is, and but now I have this opportunity to do it. And I may not get the opportunity again, so might as well make the most of it.
Is that why it feels right now?
I would hope so. I mean, you make decisions in your life and you hope that they turn out right, or that they are the right decision. You don't know that at the time, but obviously having that opportunity in the past and not taking it, here it is. I felt that the timing probably wasn't right. I mean, that covers a multitude of things, but overall, just great to be here, and I'm ready to go, I think.
We don't normally ask an awful lot about the backroom staff, but there's a fairly high-profile chap who's been working with you at the Republic of Ireland, Roy Keane. Is he going to come and join you here?
Well, I would dearly like him to join us, and again, since this has happened very, very quickly, he has a number of things to sort out himself, and I think that we've had some discussions here. I would genuinely like him to do so. I'd like him to join if that's the case. There's a spot open for him, and I'm hoping that may happen. It may not. He has a number of things. Obviously, he has to consider himself, both personally and professionally, and but he will keep me informed. But I would dearly like him to join up. He was a great asset to me as when I was the manager and assistant manager or when I was the manager and he was the assistant manager of the Republic of Ireland, with some really great days, and tough to handle. There's no doubt at all about it, you know. But you know that with him, and that's probably what makes him pretty special. He was a special player. Let me put it this way: fantastic footballer. Drove Manchester United on for 10 years, and he didn't win those things by just sitting around.
You alluded to the fact that it's 20 years now since Forest have been in the Premier League. Has that been made very clear to you that that's the mission for the club and for you? Into the Premier League?
I don't think there's any other reason to be here. Really, that's it. I think that we want to try and drive on. Slipped a little bit in recent times, but hopefully be able to rectify that. The obvious, I would say, a hurdle is that you have to get to know the players pretty quickly. This is not a pre-season. This is not something that you can take 5 or 6 weeks, sort out things, do a lot of stuff, and get to know the players very well. I have to try and do that there in ultra quick time. That's okay. That's not a major problem. There are a few suspensions, a few injuries to overcome as well too. But overall, no. This is it. This is what I want to do. And if it doesn't happen, I'm here, as I said, for 18 months. And then if we can't get up, I'll gladly hand it over to someone else to see if they can do it.
You're probably aware that you're the 13th manager in 7.5 years here. It's been a real time of turmoil. I don't want to throw the negatives at you, but was that a concern to you? Did you need to be convinced that you'd be given time here?
That's, what is it, 13 managers and what?
7.5 years.
Well, I wasn't particularly aware of that there. Now that you've made me aware of it, it's pretty daunting. I don't know how statistically that will stack up, but I'll try my best for a period of time. I think in this day and age now, where managers are, to be fair, are getting less and less time. If that's the case, then you got to get going. You got to get going immediately.
Martin, obviously there's a huge pull here for you to come to Forest, but are you excited by this project in a footballing sense? Never mind the kind of sentimentality of it.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, exactly. This is, it is great to be back here. It's been Nottingham was part of my life, and even after I'd finished playing football, I was still here for a little period of time. My 2 children went to primary school here, so Nottingham has been part of it, but that's gone. Well, certainly a lot of new generations have gone up since that, and I think that sentimentality apart, I think this is a job to do, and this is what I'm here to do. So yeah, I think you can, at some stage or another in the very, very near future, I think you can divide those two. Sentimentality, great for a little while, get on with the job. The job is, as Rob has mentioned, is to try and get up.
Certainly caught the imagination of the supporters. Have you been pleased with the kind of general reaction that you've had so far? Obviously, it's a sellout on Saturday, isn't it? It's
really great. I think that there's that sort of feeling because I belong to a successful period in the past. I think that supporters are a little bit older than the early generation, the new generations would look at it. But overall, yeah, very, very excited about that. That's great. And of course, as Rob mentioned there, pressure as well too. Pressure not to let people down. Pressure to do the very, very best you can. And that's what I'm here for.
How do you assess the job you come into, Martin? Obviously, you just said with Rob there that it's not necessarily easy to come in mid-season. You don't have a pre-season to get to know the players. But I suppose the other side of that is kind of opportunities like this where there's a decent squad and a chance this season of doing something maybe quite rare in terms of picking up a squad in that shape. Well,
I think that at this minute you're probably know more about the squad than I do. I've tried to do as much homework as possible just in recent hours rather than days. So, but all of those things there will come. They'll come together. It's really exciting. That's the most important thing. It's really exciting now. In an ideal world, it would be great to come in, as I mentioned earlier, at the start of a season. Doesn't matter. You get this opportunity. It's come along. And I'm really going to try and make the most of it.
You sound as if you've still got the passion and the drive, both for this club obviously, but also for the job that you do. I mean, 30 weeks in management is sometimes enough for some people. How do you keep going?
Well, I think that I think, first of all, I've retained a great enthusiasm for football itself, for a start. Secondly, I'm well aware of the pitfalls of management, and what, as I've been told often enough in the past by very, very good friends, if you don't feel like doing it, you shouldn't do it. And I want to do it, and I want to go for it. I obviously want to be successful here, because as a player, as I said to you, the last 5 years of my time here were absolutely extraordinary. You go from promotion to winning the league championship, to winning league cups, to winning the European cups, to winning the Super Cup, and actually playing in a World Club Championship final, all within 5 years. That's extraordinary in anybody's book. But here, at a provincial club, those were heady days. They were fantastic. But what we want to try and do now is, if it's at all possible, don't live in the past. That's there. That will be there forevermore, which is great. Try and carve some sort of niche here for the present players.
And just finally from me for the moment, Martin, did you kind of, has there always been an inevitability that one day you'd be sat in that chair as Forest manager?
I don't. It's funny now, as I sit here, I possibly think that maybe that was the case, and maybe there was some sort of destiny attached to it. You can get a little bit carried away with that. But the occasions in the past when it didn't seem the right thing to do, I suppose you often wonder whether there would ever be another opportunity. Somebody can come in here, take this club by the scruff of the neck, and manage in the same way as the great Brian Clough did, and manage for a long, long period of time. And of course, then if that's the case, then your own time passes. So I think all of those things I may consider now in the next couple of days, because I genuinely haven't had that much time to think about it. But if there's inevitability about it, I don't know. If there's some sort of destiny attached to it, well, so be it. I'm here now. Thank you very much.
Martin, a lot of the managers come here and they talk about the weight of expectation given all that was achieved here at Forest. How conscious are you, as part of that history makers, of what people expect and what the Forest fans expect from this club?
Well, I think first of all, obviously managers have come in here who hadn't been part of the playing past. So from that viewpoint, I'm well aware of it. Whether that puts more pressure on, I don't know. Only time will tell. But I'm very well aware of it. We want to try and get up, and this is it. The club. There are a number of clubs in this division who feel that they should be in the Premier League. They have the massive support behind them. They've had a bit of history attached to it. But if you talk about real history here, there wouldn't be many teams in the in this league here who've gone on to win a couple of European Cups and who've actually dropped down another division before that. So, want to do it in ultra quick time if it's at all possible. I don't have ages to do it. And as I said to you, I'll throw absolutely everything into it. But in terms of weight of expectation, I think it's always there.
You say you want to do it as quickly as possible. Is this season feasible? Set a target by
I wouldn't rule things out at all. I think that the players are up for the challenge. I'll say I've only taken 2 training sessions. We've just come in from this morning as well too, and seemed to be a really good spirit among the players. I suppose always incoming managers always say that, but it doesn't mean I'm sure there was a good spirit before I was here. And but ready to try and do it if we can, and that's my task. That's really my task, and it's not. We just mentioned earlier there about projects, and I don't think there's such a thing anymore as long-term projects in the game. So abide by that there and get on with it.
How important is the relationship that you've got with the board to get you here? How important is that relationship with the board going to be going forward?
Do you know what I think? I think that knowing from my experience at club football in the past, I think those things are always very, very important. You have to have someone, you have to have trust. There has to be a bit of trust built up. You have to get to know each other as well too. I think all of those things are vitally important. And I think there's a lot of that there will transmit itself onto the pitch as well too. So sometimes in the past I've been told that I've been difficult to deal with. that's just in my household. And but overall, that's it. Yeah. I've had to overcome certain difficulties myself, and with myself as well too. So, ready to go.
Finally, for me, given the turnover of managers here, Martin, have you been set a target by the board?
Well, essentially, I think that we have done exactly that. The target is to get promotion, and that's it. I have to try and do that. Otherwise, as I said, the club really, in terms of potential, in terms of support, in terms of the history, should be in the big league. And if I'm unable to do that, deliver that there, then I will hand over to someone else. Thank you.
Martin, welcome to Nottingham.
Thank you.
You talked about the opportunities you've had before to come to the City Ground. Can you explain to us why the timing felt right now?
Well, I'm obviously going to. I've reached a certain age here, where this game, as I said, somebody could step in here, do brilliantly for the next number of years, and then that opportunity would never arise. And so, I could retire and go into the sunset and never have this opportunity. So now, if this is the case, again, I get back to the point about saying about whether the timing's right, whether it's a right decision. Who knows whether any of those particular things, you make the decision and you try and make it right. And this is what I'm going to try and do.
Can you describe the feeling of actually walking into this ground that holds so many fantastic memories for you, coming back as manager? Well,
I haven't been here that often really since I left the club as a player. I obviously managed Leicester City and we played against Nottingham Forest. Occasionally I've been here to watch, in the last 5 years, maybe to watch some Irish players either. Not that Murphy, who had retired from Ireland, was playing, but if there happened to be some players playing in the opposition who were Irish players playing here. But what I didn't realise, of course, they have put the photographs out there now of the team, and that is great to have. And I'm sure if the younger players come in and wanted some what shall I say, some extra motivation for themselves, it's all there. It's there right in front of you, and so from that viewpoint, it's nice. And I noticed that Robertson has been stuck in a very special position, and unfortunately I haven't been, but pretty close to him anyway. Well, that's okay. We're pretty close to him, and that envy and jealousy has still remained all these years, despite the fact he was my assistant manager and brilliant for me as well too.
You had your first training session with the players.
Funnily enough, I came here, and the second one, the first one was on what day is it today? Thursday. It was Tuesday. We did a little bit on Tuesday.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that was? What you said to the players?
I think that, like everything else, when there's a new manager comes in, players kind of immediately step up, and there's a bit of a spark around about the place, if that's the case. I've known this from the past, and but to turn around and say that the training is better, I think that would be not. I think that would be disparaging to the outgoing manager. He did really well, and I think that it's happened to me in the past when I think it was I left Norwich to go to Leicester, was it, and the manager came in at that particular time and said the training was miles better in that morning than it had been before. So I really get irritated by that, So I vow that it wouldn't happen again. And who knows, maybe it was worse yet today. But it's fine, we're okay. And I think the players are ready to go. I hope. We need to be ready for Saturday.
Come on from James.
Martin, in the few days that you have been here, how does the club compare to when you were last here as a player?
My last days here as a player, we were my last game here, funnily enough, my last ever game as a player, I scored twice against Arsenal, and the manager still get rid of me. So that is, I've held that against him for a long, long time. I couldn't believe it. Scored twice against Pat Jennings. We beat Arsenal 3-1 here. And he said, no, Norwich we've accepted a bid from Norwich, and you're going. Oh, well, there we are. Okay. So we were in the top division at the time when I left as a player, and we're not in this at the moment. So that's something to try and rectify.
And in the couple of training sessions you have had with the squad, what have you made of them so far?
It's very, very difficult to answer that. It's as I said, it looks as if we've got a good spirit among the players. But as I say, I'm sure that existed before. Got a couple of problems really with a couple of suspensions that were picked up there against Reading, and obviously a few problems with injuries. But you could say the same for any championship team. So we've got to get over that, forget about it, and get on with things.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to go and do the written press now. So if you want to follow Ashley, my colleague here, is going to take you all through to the Gary